It's early morning and we're getting ready to have a day. I'm looking to maybe do some events, like some rallies and like things like gumball, dust ball, stuff like that this year. I hope. Maybe even the power tour. That's actually my goal. We'll see. But trying to find a car to do it in. And I'm going to take the black and white Crown Vic out. We're going to see if it's up for the challenge. So how do you do that? Well, apparently you start by getting up really early in the morning. So, and yesterday we installed a stereo in it. So what we have here is an installation kit. I got the harness. This stuff's all busted up because it's been riding around in the trunk of the car pretty much since the first week I bought it. So I need to get all this stuff done up, get the stereo out, and we'll get that all ready to get put in. So according to the instructions here, I think it's just this page, we have to nope, that's for an excursion. Okay, so this is the page for the Crown Vic. We got a well, that's already broken off. Got to take this tab off and this tab off and these off, and then I got to figure out how all this crap goes together. This was the wrong kit. I mean, it's the right kit, but it's the wrong brand. There's other brands out there that are a whole lot easier than this, that don't involve me, that just basically clip in. Digging through my back room, and I found another kit, and hopefully this isn't the same kit. Well, it turns out these two are identical. I'll bet the same company puts them out. They just got different names, so... Well, this is crap. But if you've been watching this video already for the last couple of years, you've probably already guessed it was crap. So, I found 4 kits in the back. They're all equally as bad. But, here's the stereo. It's a Blau Punt. I bought it at the pawn shop. Imagine that. And we're just going to go ahead and use the first kit, and we'll put it together and see what we can make of it. Okay, so we got it in. It looks pretty good, but this is quite literally the worst adapter kit I have ever dealt with. I mean, I can't even get this in. I tried it, and I ended up breaking it. This is just junk. But the stereo itself is epic. Stock speakers, it sounds really good, and once I get my Bluetooth hooked up to it, it's going to be great. So as it's early, we're gonna sneak in here. Well, you can't see that. I'll pop the hood and we're gonna check the oil. Focus. Apparently I'm gonna need new hood struts. So, let me... Having a hard time focusing today. Hey, it's good. We're gonna need to take some things with us. We've got a jack, a spare tires, some tools, and apparently a hubcap for a Ford pickup. We're also gonna need some hands-free stuff, the dash cam, and phone chargers. Okay, so I got my headset, spare SD cards, my coffee cup, my new stereo's in and it's hooked up, dash cam is up, check engine lights are on. Now all I have to do is get my coffee filled up and we're gonna hit the road. We're going to Oklahoma City. I know I've been there before on these videos, but it's a perfect distance, it's a perfect drive. It gives me everything I need to know, and it lets me figure out what the car's doing. And It's about 3.5 hours down there. Well, just right at, it's going to be a total of about a 4-hour drive. So I got some things I need to do down there. Run by Peterbilt. I got to check on some filters, maybe. And just do a couple of other errands. Hopefully I can find some stuff for this. We got a little bit of E85 to start our day. So other than the normal things, when you take these cars out on road trips, there's one thing I like to do, and that's wash the car before I go. It's not because I'm a clean freak. I do like a clean car. You wouldn't know it, but I do. But washing the car serves another purpose. It allows you to go over the entire car to see what damage is already there. That way, if anything happens on the trip, rock chips, nicks, you'll know what's new and what isn't. Also, if the car's leaking anything or it's not leaking anything, usually it'll be telltale signs either on the side or usually around the back, on the back trunk. That black shows up everything. So that's always kind of a good indicator. So that's why I wash the car. The other thing that's going to be interesting and take a little getting used to is something that we all take for granted. And that's cruise control. This car has none. So I'm going to be pedaling it the whole trip. As for fuel mileage, I'm not going to worry about it until the drive home. We're going to run this thing out as close as we can. We're going to fill it up with regular pump gas instead of E85. Because this being a flex fuel vehicle, I can do any of it. But also, if I take it out on any rallies, I'm going to find fuel. There's not a good chance I'm going to find E85. I don't know how that works. So let's get to the interstate and we'll just go from there. One of the things that we're going to have to deal with is I know I have a strut that was leaking oil. This has got those coilover shocks on it, struts, whatever you want to call them. So I'm probably going to replace both of them. They're pretty pricey. They run, I don't know, what did I price them at? About $260 a piece. I can buy just the struts without the coils on them for a bit less, so I may do that, but then I have to buy a tool for the spring compressor, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But the other thing is the tires. I put brand new tires on this, but I went a little cheap because the car sits most of the time. And these tires are Ironmans, and you kind of have to have an iron butt to use them. These things sit around more than a couple of days. They will flat spot out, and in the summertime when it gets hot, you can run out the flat spots pretty quick, but in the wintertime it takes a few minutes, and this turns into just a bumpy ride. So most likely, one of the last things I do after I change out the shocks is I'm going to go ahead and put new, I don't know if I'm going to go with Michelin's or Goodyear's, but I'm going to put a good tire on that's going to last the entirety. So that's in the plans. It's going to get tires regardless, but because I haven't hated tires this much since I bought those Coopers. Not a fan of the Cooper either, but for different reasons. But these ride, like I said, these ride all right for what I'm doing with them. It's fine, but on for road trips, I'm sure as hard as they are, they're going to wear out rather quickly, and they just flat spot. So, but for what I'm doing with them, they're all right. The E85 in this is really going quick. That's one of those things that, another reason, it's probably only gets maybe 10 or 12 miles per gallon on E85. So we're going to have to figure that out. But also with the EGR being slightly plugged, that is affecting the fuel mileage a little bit, but we'll get all that straightened out. got stopped here in Perry. We're at the Loves. It's kind of weird being on the front side of it. Sitting here doing a quick walk around. Everything looks pretty good. Ooh, what happened there? No. Yeah. Everything looks good. I got to make my first stop in Edmond, just a few minutes down the road. Everything looks good. We'll do all the oil and all that when we fill up. I've got about 3 stops down here to make, so I don't know if I'll film them or not, but so let's get this thing going. Had to make a pit stop. I had to get a Monster. I like the orange ones the best, but they were out. Made the first stop, but I'll have to say that was a complete bust. They need to work on their website. But that being said, got to head over to Peterbilt now. I love coming to the firehouse. They got the farm boat here that have a bunch of neat stuff and t-shirts and whatnot. I like coming here. I love stopping here. Now we can go to Peterbilt. Well, we're at Peterbilt. They've got a few trucks, but most of these are all sold, if not all of them. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen a lineup of uglier trucks in my life. I mean, they're ugly all the way down the line, and just, you can tell they're just cheaply built. I don't know what's going on. It just, if there's a cost that can be cut on these trucks, I guess they were all ordered that way, because for a brand new truck, I wouldn't own it. They're just, you can tell they're just cheap, missing half of the stuff that you want, and if they're ordered that cheap, that tells me they cut corners elsewhere. So, I guess we'll take care of a few other things. Among those things is I've got to get gas. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Finally had to stop for fuel. This is interesting. E85 is 105 octane. There's a part of me that really wants to go for it. I just decided to go with 87 this time, just because that was the plan. We'll see if we do any better on the way home. This car has a surprisingly small tank, so see if we can squeeze 14 gallons in here. Ooh, it's fighting me. There we are. I don't know why, I've always got the best fuel down here in Oklahoma. Ooh, before I leave, I gotta swap out the SD card in my camera. So we're all done here in the city. It's time to head home. Gotta stop up north of town here and check out the car, and I got one more stop to make. Gotta get some coffee, and I'm gonna stop in Tonkawa, check the car out, and so we'll catch you in Tonkawa. I always like to swing over here in Wilkins and look at the old trucks. They got some beautiful stuff over here. I mean, look at that. Just all sorts of look at that old Mack. Oh, that is cool. Oh man. Just, I know I'm not getting my coffee, but look at these old cab overs. Love this stuff. They got a whole yard of it too, and I always enjoy coming over here and looking at it. Oh man. Wish I had the money to put about 6 of these together. These are just gorgeous. Love old trucks, and I'm hoping to maybe one of these days in the next year or so put one together. That'd be cool. If I had my druthers, I'd start with this Mack right there. That is gorgeous. So far, as we go over the car, I'm not seeing anything along the back that would indicate it's leaking. Everything is running really good. The tires are really smoothed out. That only took half a day, but it's running smoother than it has in a long time. So that's all good. Had to get over here in a nice quiet place where I wouldn't be bothered. It's actually sounding really good. I mean, it's smoothed out. Everything seems to be going well. I'm gonna have to reset those check engine lights. You can do that manually, so we'll see. I put a new gas cap on, but that didn't help that one. So a bunch of berry mints, a bunch of cleaner, a bunch of fuel, and a long drive, and truthfully that should clean it out, but we'll find out when I reset the lights. But aside from that, I mean, everything's golden. So let's start getting back towards the house. And yeah, I'm really I'm out there. So let's put it back on the interstate and head it north. So we made it home, and I gotta say, the car impressed me a lot. Nothing leaking, nothing rattling, nothing banging. You know, I might just run out them tires to see what happens regardless. There's nothing on the back, I mean. So yeah, it's looking good. There was one thing this car did that kind of gave me a little scare there for a minute, and that was the brakes when I was on that dirt road. I have to check the brakes, but it got some dirt and stuff in there, and it started squeaking and rattling and making a little bit of noises, so we're going to have to do this. But there was one other thing that I did notice that is going to have to be addressed, and that has to deal with the suspension. I noticed that the suspension was getting a little bit of a hop to it when we went over bumps, and it seemed a little stiff. But I got thinking about that, and it started, you know, it would bump and it might throw the car a little bit this way or that, and I realized that I'm going to have to check the sway bar in the back. But not only that, I think the shocks are shot, because what it was doing was hopping, and I thought it was stiffness, but more I thought about it, I realized that the spring rate was going infinite, meaning that it was bottoming out, or it was there was nothing keeping it. Boy, I'm not doing well with this today. Again, there was nothing keeping it planted on the road. So when I hit a bump, the shocks aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not pushing down. They're just floating with the springs. Thankfully, it wasn't bottoming out, because if it bottomed out, I would have wrecked the car. But we're going to fix that. Okay, so where was I? It wasn't bottoming out, because I would have wrecked the car had that happened. Now, what this means is that all the cushion and shock absorption was happening with the tires. And as I've talked about before, these are crappy tires. Crappier tires, the better you're going to need shocks and springs. Everything works together. So we're going to have to put new struts on the front. Probably at least take a good look at the sway bar in the back. And put shocks in the back. I'm going to have to do shocks all the way around.
And that should smooth up the ride quite a bit. But aside from that, it did really well. I was impressed. So, car, it seemed like it cleaned itself up. I'm going to go clear the codes on it and see what happens there. And then we'll just have to go from there. That's the car I'm planning on using. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Hopefully I can get the windows tinted here soon. That's going to happen. I like to put the factory tinted glass I have here in it, but I'm going to save that one for the other car. It's a whole long story. Anyhow, I hope you liked the video. It wasn't anything serious. We're just shaking out a car. If you're going to take a car on a rally, you just got to spend an afternoon and just drive it. We put about 500 miles on it. I used a whole tank of fuel going to Oklahoma City on E85. I used less than half a tank coming back. So E85 is a lot of fun around town. Makes the car spunky, but I'll tell you what, it ain't worth a crap on the highway. Regular 87, I got twice the mileage out of it. It did cost a bit more, but in the long run, I'm spending less because I'm using less fuel. So, anyhow, I hope you liked the video. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.